Hi guys, we are at Friggin' Jeep. You're at Friggin' Jeep. My name's John and I created this mess. I'm an old timer that's got a lot of goofy ideas about different things. If you watch my channel, if you're regular here, you know I got a different way of looking at everything. If you're new here, you haven't realized that, and about once every year I got to give a talk on this wood splitter and why I don't have wedges and why this and why that. Now when this wood splitter was built, and that's what this is going to be, then I'm going to split a little wood, and it's getting cleaned up over there, and show you about these racks. A little bit of everything going on here, but mostly wood splitter talk for you guys, which I said I was going to kind of get into wood splitters. I just did a video down at Jeff's on our big wood splitter that has a box wedge. So we have box wedges. But that splitter ain't like nothing else that you guys have ever seen. You'll never find one of those wood splitters anywhere. Anyhow, when we built this wood splitter 50 years ago, and this is something a lot of you guys, young guys, can't even begin to realize, there was no internet. There was no, you pick up the telephone and call somebody, because you had an expensive phone call if you talked to somebody on the phone. Now you pick up a phone and it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, is all you had was Popular Mechanics, and there was two of them, Popular Mechanics and maybe Popular Science, and in the back of that book there was a hydraulic wood splitter, and it was a lickety log splitter, and it was a single wedge with a long taper, and that's what I went by to make this wood splitter. I had split by hand and ricocheted off and busted splitter handles because they didn't make them the way they made them now. You know, you overshot and you bust the head off and stuff like that. And there's pictures on the YouTube of mashed out wedges that I had that look like a mushroom. Anyhow, nowadays everybody thinks they got to have the biggest and the baddest wood splitter out there. And so these manufacturers that are making wood splitters are making what they think you want, or what you think you want, because you don't know. A lot of you people don't have any idea what a wood splitter does and how they work. They just see one with, it'll split 10 wedges all at once, it'll split 12 wedges, it'll split 16 way, and you think that's the fastest, biggest, baddest. Let me tell you, you can make so much bigger, that do so much more, that's unbelievable. It's all you gotta do is add horsepower to it. How fast you want to split depends on how big your pocket is, and that's the bottom line. But you might be able to save your pocket by just a single split wedge. And there's different things about this wedge and this splitter that just accidentally came about. It was, some things weren't designed, things came around, and you start to realize, wait, this is better. We're going to start with the how much wood do you split, okay? And what is the most, what you're splitting mostly. If you're splitting sycamore like Don Schaub likes, you need probably a two-speed pump on it. That's the pump back there. This is not that. Those were just starting to come in, or maybe they were around, but like I said, you didn't just go look at the internet and said, oh, this is what I need, and pick it out. You had to do a lot of research, and research was go to the library, which nobody knew anything about wood splitters back then, hardly at all. Like I said, Lickety Log Splitter was the only company that I knew of that made one back then, and they didn't have a two-stage pump. They had some kind of two-stage cylinder, which you should look on those. Those are the neatest things that ever were. Anyhow, so, and this is all made from trash. Where do you go find this? Where do you go find that? You could be on the phone all day long trying to find something. Central Tractor was around. I think I said TSC in a different video. They weren't, TSC was nobody's even dream back then, but Central Tractor, and I lived in the middle of the city, so I didn't even know what Central Tractor was. There was one in Frederick, and that was, you know, several miles away. That Frederick was like going to the other side of the world for me back then. Anyhow, so all this was scrounged up parts, which I went through that in another video. But now how much horsepower to drive that pump? That's what you want to start looking at. If most of your wood is going to be big gnarly wood, then nowadays you're either got to have engine or two-stage pump. That's a single stage. So when you see me split and I get into a big piece, okay, it'll either stop, but it will not slow down. It might stop. You'll hear the and that's where it's going to the bypass because I'm making more power. The speed comes from a small diameter piston or ram or hydraulic piston or whatever you want to call it back there, the pushing force. Okay, the pump pushes it in, comes through. Now, if I put wings on this, okay, there's several reasons I don't. Number one, it makes more trash. Number two, I use my belly to hold this piece in. You see all these new ones, you're sitting way back here. I don't know if I'm even in there. You're sitting way back there to hit the controls. Okay? And the controls are always up here so you can get it from both sides, which makes sense because there's left-handed people, right-handed people. This was made for me. It comes up, it's solid. You can shake just about all you want and it's not going to shake. I recommend a solid wood splitter. You see a lot of these and you put something on there and they go shaky and stuff like that. Anyhow, if I put the wings on this anyway, then when I get into a log, I'm going to need more power. Okay, so what does that mean next? That means I got to change that pump or put a bigger engine in there. You got a choice. You ain't going to have everything. Okay? So what all these new splitters do is they put a small engine in there that goes down to a small gears or small pistons area, so it's pumping low volume but ultra high pressure, and that'll keep this motor going. And that's why you see this in those box wedges, they go and then they slow down, and you can walk through, you can smoke a cigarette before you get through some of those. Now the next thing a multi-split wedge does is it sends your wood out to Never Never Land. Okay, let's say you have a 6-way on here. You watch most people and they're going like, oh, but they're sitting out here because it's in the way, or they got one here and that one falls on the ground. That's time. Okay, you don't have, if you want to go chasing wood, go chase wood. All those multi-splits, you're chasing wood, and a lot of that is because these have a real steep point to them. This is real tapered, so it doesn't go very far. That's one thing, and I know there's a lot of things I'm forgetting, but the multi-split wedges and the box wedges, when they get into something and they hit, they have to go to low pressure down there, or you have to have a bigger engine. On the splitter that I just did a photograph on that we made down at Jeff's, we put a 60 horsepower John Deere diesel engine on it, and we put a single stage pump on it. So when it goes through that box wedge, it's not slowing down, it's going, okay? And that'll split, okay? Trying to think of what else. That's kind of it, I think. Of course, I'll think of things later. So we're going to show you, I got most of this stuff cleaned up now. The small stuffs are getting in there. There's a lot of gnarly stuff. You can see that knot on that one. You can see that's a double. A lot of these are double heart. I'm going to take you off the stand and walk you over there, because this is kind of selfie stick. But you got to think, how often do you really need all that power? Okay, or do you want speed? The cycle time on this splitter here is 5 seconds, and I could speed it up if I ran it faster. Okay, we got this just about all cleaned up with the maple. That's a double one here. Boom, boom, and it's a little bit big for me to handle. That's a double one with a heart off the side, which you know that's gnarly. That's a double one. That's poplar, and that's the part of all this mess that creates one. I am going to come in with a splitter, another splitter that we made. I don't even know where it's at. There it is down there. A lot of people noodle those down because, hey, you got to do what you got to do, and whatever works best for you. But it's the streamline around the splitter that makes it fast. The splitter's only, what, 20% of your... This is a big one we made. That's got, I don't know, 5.5, 6-inch bore on that. It's all put together. It's got a big massive wedge on that, and that'll break those down to where I can handle them to get them through the fast splitters. All I want is a single split to split it to get it down to size, and that's that. I don't know. I'm in slow motion today. My belly is full of brownies thanks to Wild Wayne at Wayne's World Garage. Wayne, yeah, I think it's Wayne's World's Garage. If you got time to go by and stop by Wayne, sawmill guys, he's in the sawmills. He's got a wood splitter too that he made. Just about everybody makes a wood splitter now for big stuff, or it's got the multi-split wedges on it. But if you watch, I know I was saying something. You watch, they got a handle way up here. I couldn't even work that handle on some of those that get like that. They're way out of your work range. Next thing I don't like a multi-split wedge Okay, if I had a wing out here, number one, I couldn't get into it, so I'd be far away. But then this piece here, it's either got to come this way or it's got to go this way. For me to go like this and get that is a lot faster. Do you follow that? Okay, the next thing is, if you got a fixed four-way wedge, that might be wedged in there and you got to push it off. So some things to think about, and I think of things in jabber on and stuff like that. So we're going to get splitting here, but oh, I know what I got to do before I go any further. I got to take these off. We were doing how to make your wood crate easier to work, and everybody is afraid of cutting this off and to make these things expand out too easy. So I said, why don't you just take these are the bars. I got to loosen this thing up. These are the bars that hold the thing in. I put them back in here and stand my wood up. You've seen it in who knows how many videos. So I get the wood up. When it gets to this part down here, then I know it's time to build my edge up. If you're new here, I'll zero in on that. If you're not new here and you've seen this a million times, sorry about your bad luck. See how I build those edges up? I get maximum use out of these things. But if you have a tractor that can't pick them up, then you're not going to think about that. But if you have the equipment, do your best at using that equipment to its fullest. But anyhow, this rack here really doesn't work for me. This keeps the outside sturdy, but it's just not me. So I want to take these out so I don't know how I can't stack up like this way, so it's not really what I want. So I'm going to take these out. It's just the same bolts that hold it in. You're not doing anything new. It's just, I don't want them in there because I want to stack it up higher than those. You could probably stack it on top of those, but I don't feel like fighting. You stack up here and this is solid, you're going to be fighting around and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to put them in the back of I got the Capote here today. Now it's just an empty rack. But I can stack it up higher. And then I'm just going to put a strap over it. I think you could probably put a strap over it and it work fine. That was pretty easy to do. It makes it solid. You can fill it up. And then the purpose of it was so you could dump it. See, there's no front on it at all, so you could just dump it. But that is a little bit flimsy, but I'll just put one of those straps on it and it'll be fine. Think we're gonna get any splitting done? We've been splitting. We're already up to 13 minutes. Anywho, where are we at now? I might put you back here today. That's got the whole shooting match. I gotta lock that in. And like I said, I'm in slow motion mood today. So, my belly's full of brownies. Wayne, it's your fault. They are good brownies though. See if this old beast will start. Of course it will. since you are still there, well, you got kind of an example of how I use my big belly to keep these in. So I have control. So the one half's going onto my table, the other half is going into my belly, which I just pull it back. Which is just, you're not, it's different. If you're sitting back here because you have that big contraption, or you have a multi-wedge and you have your big tray here, who knows where you're standing, or you got your log lift that you're using for a table. That's another thing we'll get into, log lifts. Do you really need a log lift? Well, if you don't have any other way to get your woods up, I recommend you getting a log lift. But those log lifts, I've been trying to tell these people that are making these wood splitters for years, if you convert that log lift so it could be a table, okay, so if these guys got a tractor, you can just raise it up, have a third leg come down, and make it a table. The wings that they have off, that they come up, keep the wood in, make that so it can come off and turn around, make that one so it can come up and turn around. Make your tray down here so it's removable, so your table is your log lift and that. Just trying to tell you. The next thing you got to think about, if you get that multi-split wedge or box wedge or something like that, you're producing a lot of wood. Boom, boom. No question about it. You have to then either have a helper, which costs money, okay, or you have to have a conveyor and take it out of here. Now, there's several guys out there. I don't remember the Jake at DY Dude Ranch DIY. You watch, they got the system down pretty good. Jeff and Patty up in, you got to watch. You should be watching all these. Jeff and Patty, they're running the elevator up and into a crate, okay, and they're not touching it after that, which is good, okay. But if you don't have all those crates or access to all those crates, okay, then you're having to run it up there, dump it in a trailer, then go stack it. That stacking takes a lot of time. Why not just stack it from here? Boom, it's done. If you have to pick it up again, that takes energy. And most of the time, if you're stacking a cord of wood, it probably took you longer to stack that cord of wood than it did for you to split it, especially if you got a multi-split wedge. Pretty much all the time I can split a third of a cord in 20 to 30 minutes. And that's an old geezer running this at half speed now. I want speed because 98% of my wood can handle speed. Okay, if I put a 4-way in there, I'll get 4 pieces, but then I got 4 pieces to juggle. I can't get myself in there. You got to think about it before you go getting a wood splitter, okay, because big costs money. Now, Andrew up at Easton, they have the Ultra. I think it's Ultra, which is a pretty fast little wood splitter. And if you're new here, I'd recommend getting that. I really would, and try that out. I don't know if he has it with a little taller wedge or something like that. I don't know. You'd have to go up to Easton Made. They got good websites. There was one of them over there at Brad's show, and that was, you know, I really like that splitter because you can run a single wedge, but it still has a little bit of a strong taper, so it throws the wood out quick. So it's not that you're splitting it any faster. You're coming in fast. I don't know. Anyhow, so you saw that. Remember the other day how I had, we're just about out of time, how I had that chunks and hunks pile here? Okay, I wanted the rack because I can stack more wood in the rack than chunks and hunks. So what I decided to do was I have this chunks and hunks pile down here, because if you're in the wood business, you get chunks and hunks. Okay, and I'm trying to fill this up higher. So that basket, it was almost full. I fit it all in here, and I still got room for a lot more of chunks and hunks in here. So this will get filled up, and this will get burned this fall. This will get burned in, I'll probably start burning this in probably November or December of this year. Anyhow, that's a little bit of a walk around the wood splitter. You don't need the biggest, baddest wood splitter to be fast. You need to be organized around your splitter. So I don't know if you can follow that, guys, but if you're new here, you don't need all the options, every option that you can think of, every option this, every option that. Think about that. If you have one of those big splitters that's got, well, you can come with a box wedge, or you can come with a 4-way, or you can come with an 8-way, or you can come with a billion way, okay? Think how much time it takes just to change that wedge. Where you could have come down here with a single way, whap, 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 and get everything. You know, if you get into a bunch of gnarly wood that you can't go whap, whap, whap through that box wedge, you got to take that wedge out, take the ham out, put a single way wedge in there, a double way wedge in there. That takes a lot of time. If you had that single way in there with speed, okay, you'd be getting all your thing, and you'd probably get it done faster. So that's it for this one. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I don't know when this is going on. Today is Wednesday, and I was over at Wild Wayne, so go over and visit Wild Wayne. We'll see you later now. Bye-bye.